All right, good morning, gang. Tradingology.com's trading room for August 20th, 2020. Today is Thursday, and Thinkorswim is making it batting 100% on failing on internals. So I got a couple charts up here that MT Synth is still working, but we see the oscillator's not going. If I drag over, I don't even know where I have it right now, so I'm not watching it. Let me see if I can find it. Dun, 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 dun. Where's the screen that doesn't work? There it is. Nothing. Still back to Monday. No volume, nothing there, nothing on the new one either. So I've pretty much ignored this one right now because it's useless at the moment. And I will show you what you can do when things like this happen, if you still want to get a feel for what the internals are doing. We have our spreadsheet, right, that you guys get the daily updates for that are subscribed to it. If you're not, check it out. Hit up Strong Market, let them know. But so I've been updating this morning, and I'll give you the page that I use, and just show. I was looking at Thinkorswim's Twitter account here. They haven't done any updates since 2 days ago. What was the 18th? The 18th was Tuesday. Today's the 20th, right? And yeah. Good morning, Greg. Good to see you. Just want to triple check you are seeing. Do Mike and a sound check since I don't have Dave yet. It looks like he'll be joining a few minutes late. You guys are seeing the Twitter page, right? I got too many screens to make sure I'm sharing the right one. Give me a shout in the chat if you can for a second. All right, you're seeing the right charts. Looks good, Greg. Morning, Isaac. All right, appreciate it. Yeah, so here's everybody counts on their platforms, blah, blah, blah. Fiercely committed to restoring service, not working. Last 2 days, well, how about the last 4 days now? All right, thanks, Greg. Temporarily unable to log on, use the web stuff. Yeah, well, web stuff doesn't work for what we use it for, right? So what we can do is pull up I'll throw this link in the chat if you don't have it yet. Let me find my chat. It's right there. Thank you. All right, so you can pull up this site, scroll down a little bit, goes right into the market's diary, which is what reports the issues. So we're going to be looking at, so here we have advancing issues, declining issues, advancing and declining volume. So we'll translate that right into the spreadsheet. So I'll do an update. I've done one twice, so we'll see which way it's trending here. So we'll shrink this down so I can see both. And we have, so we see it was 794 before, so 952 now. So that's actually going up. 1838, the declining are going down. And then the advancing and declining issues, you take the first 6. You don't have to put in the millions, you drop off the last 3. So here we got 193, 480. And here we have 474, 962. And it looks like that jumped right at the same time, so I will update this so we have it across the board. We're now at 1012 there. Dave's at the door. We'll let Dave in while I'm doing this for you guys. 1783. So there we go. Oh no. Yeah. 1012, 1783. Those are updated. Those are updated. Now I just need price. SPX is 54 cents to the good. And the Dow Jones is negative 852. So pop those in. We'll make this full screen. Then we can look at what's going on over here. So here we see the average share volume will obviously be different because that's calculated at the end of the day. So you can ignore that if you're doing intraday updates to the spreadsheet. But what we want to look at is volatility. And it's absolutely moving up here. So we see that 96%. Bearish herding's got 3 columns filled in currently. BOP curves building up. Pipelines filled out completely for 2 days now. We're up at 122 on the flow. So all these are bearish indicators, which definitely relates to what we're doing. So if we can kind of translate in your head these issues, that would translate into what we normally see on those charts. So this would be a day that I have a hard time taking longs outside of maybe a quick scalp. And if we look at, so we have recovered some, then we look at the charts. Hey, good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
Just doing the quick up to the minute updates for the guys.
Yeah, don't let me interrupt.
And then, yeah, so there was actually one quick short, so I saw that, so I was very skeptical. I liked it when it got above 33.65 over here on the ES, so I did take a quick scalp, expecting it to go to 70 and potentially 75, but I didn't wait. One, because we're doing this, and two, because I saw those numbers and those indicators saying that there was more negativity versus bullishness. So that's why I took them off before I let it run to 33.75 where we typically could. It still might get there, but I'm just more hesitant, more cautious because the probabilities are lower that that's going to happen. Now we have price signals going down. We got a down arrow forming here, so this most likely might turn around. So that's how you can do it during the day, intraday with the spreadsheet. Any questions, let me know. I got the link in the chat, so you guys got that. So yeah, Dave, I pulled up the awesome Twitter account, showed them how fantastic Thinkorswim is at the moment.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they still have problems. And as we discussed earlier this morning, it could be that transition from TD Ameritrade over to Schwab.
Yeah, let's hope it's not that.
I hope not either.
There should be a link in the chat, Andre. I'll paste it in here again.
Yeah, I don't see it either. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
It might be if you didn't see it before. I might have pasted it before you guys joined. So there you go. All right. So other than that, let's see what's cooking in the world. We're trying to recover. I know, Dave, you got a little new technique you've developed for some charting, which might be handy at this point, right?
Yes, I've been using it successfully on cryptocurrencies. I can't verify that it's going to work on every instrument, like stocks and futures and stuff like that. But I think you guys will find it interesting.
Speak of cryptocurrencies, I just have to say it one more day. I know I'm getting to be a broken record, but OMG.
Yeah, it's 16% up again. It's
just ridiculous. It's kind of fun to watch. And again, still not trading it. I don't own any of this. It's just hilarious to me that they have a cryptocurrency called OMG that's doing this.
It literally is. Oh my God.
So there's your joke for the day. Sorry.
Only Dan gets my jokes. Nobody else. My wife still can't believe that you get my jokes. It's crazy. But yeah, so interesting little stuff, little teaching, a little lesson today on a new technique I've developed for trading. And I've only used it a few times, but boy, it has really been fantastic. I've used it on XLM. I bought it at 6 cents. It went to 0.088 cents. I made really good money on that. I did it again yesterday, so I thought I'd show you guys.
Right on. I have made you a co-host, so I will stop sharing, and you have the floor, sir.
All righty.
And so Dave has longer hair than me now, so you guys are good.
It just looks out. All right, let's go over to this, which I think you guys are going to find kind of interesting. This is I did this on XLM a couple of times. I've done it on other cryptocurrencies. And I think you'll find it interesting. And basically, you can see that we had a little bit of a run up here in XLM from that 6 cents level that I mentioned. And I got out at 888.0888, right in here. And ever since then, it's just kind of been grinding up, but you really can't tell, where's the support, where's the resistance zones. So what I did was I created a new charting technique. I have never seen anyone else ever use this. The first thing I'm going to do is create a basic channel. So I'm just going to try to connect the highs and the lows at the top, and then I'm going to clone that, which you can do easily on Trading View. And I want the same, so I want in other words, when they clone it, they actually do it exactly at the same
angle.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. And so I just pull it down and I look at where that support area is, right? Then I take a midline. So it's a channel line with a center. So it's got I'm just going to eyeball it here, and I'm going to change the color. Usually I like to do it white. So I'll do something like that. And this is where it kind of gets interesting because even though I've never seen this technique used anyplace else, I have seen 3D. If you ever work with Excel spreadsheets, you've probably worked with Excel spreadsheets a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the 3D model that they use for one of their charting techniques.
I have not used that model very much.
Yeah, it's a 3D model, and I haven't used it really either. But I said, you know, what if I could apply that to stocks? And so what I did was I took a little bit of I said, you know what, I'm just going to do something and create like a little grid system. And usually I put these ones at like a golden color or something like that. And what I'm trying to do is look at support and resistance within a grid, almost like a 3D modeling system, right? So I said, okay, well, here's where the resistance was right up in here. I don't know if you guys can see that. The resistance was right in here. We hit this, hit that, and it dropped off, right? And then we ended up getting a little bit of a support over here down in this area, down where the thing is. But this was fairly new, so I didn't really, the chart was just being developed at that point, so I didn't really have a good feel on it. But, and you really don't know what's going to happen next. So I said, okay, well, let me clone this one because I want to keep it consistent, right? I want to keep the chart consistent. And I started coming over here and I said, okay, well, here again, we hit resistance and we kind of backed off. We came back right down during that line. So I said, okay, let me do that. I could even do something like this and have it run down this way, but I want to have these kind of equidistant to each other. I want to have them kind of, same. I want to have the same distance between this two as I do with the next one. So sometimes I have to play around with it a little bit to see where those support and resistance areas are, but I'll come back and I'll do something else again. So maybe that wasn't right because this one worked beautifully. We hit the resistance, came back down to it, and then what I'm looking for are these little support areas, these little areas in which there is a support from the channel line as well as this line. So I'm going to use something like this. I want these equidistant. So you can already see a grid developing, and if you kind of squint, if you kind of squint at it, you can see that it's almost 3D. Like this is like a trellis almost, and it comes up, it climbs up the trellis, it pulls back down to one side of the trellis, and it goes back up to the other side of the trellis, and it goes back down to this trellis, and it goes back up to the upside of the trellis, and it goes back down. And so there's it's kind of forming a pattern. So what I did was I continued to clone this, and I tried to do them equidistant to each other. So I said, okay, now we're back up to the high. Where's it going to go? Well, it's going to go back down to this little support area right here, which is about equidistance between these two. And let me clone that one. And it's going to come down to about right there. So I want to keep these equidistant from each other, but I want to try to hit those areas in which there's some resistance and then there's some support back down here. It usually comes down into these corners. Now this one didn't hit. It was on a good strong move. This one hit. Now let me do this again. I'll clone this one. And I'll bring it right down here. So now we've got all of these pretty much equidistant to each other, where I can see where the bottom support area is. I can see where the top resistance areas are, and I have what I feel like is an opportunity to take a position. Sell when it gets up into these upper quadrants. So you can look at these as boxes, right? So we're in this box, almost not like a Darvis box, but almost like that, in which you see, well, we're up at a resistance area here potentially, and we're at a support area down here in these corners. And so yesterday we came really, really close to this little, to this corner. And so I'm looking at these corners, and I'm looking, and those are, to me, support areas. So yesterday I went in and I bought it. I didn't buy it right at the bottom, but I bought it exactly at 10 cents. So I got it right in here. And so far this morning, we're up nicely. We're up, let's see, I got to move this over a little bit to see it because you guys are in the way. We're up 2.5%. Okay. So, and so I think it's a nice buy. So let's see if it continues to follow this pattern. And sometimes I have to kind of adjust. I want to make sure that actually each one of these is really equidistant. I want to keep the uniformity because I think there's some math involved here. You know, there's something about this little resistance. Here's a corner here. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a little corner right there, and that turned out to be resistance. Came back down and then went through. But these are big buying opportunities. When it hits down, when it hits these corners, those are big buying opportunities. And so I went long yesterday when it hit this, which was about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I got this on a 3-hour time frame. I can't do it on a longer one. I don't want to do it on a shorter one. Otherwise, it's too much noise, too much chaos. But basically, that's the system. You hit and it really only works, I think, when you're in kind of this upward grinding period and you've got a channel, a clearly identified channel. I put the midline in there, and then I start to build out these grids. And you can see that it goes from like grid to grid to grid to these little boxes, right? So it trades in this box, and then it trades in this box, traded in this box a little while, and then trades in this, and it kind of goes back and forth between the upper boxes here and the lower boxes. And it keeps doing that. It goes up, trades in this box, goes into this box, etc. So anyway, I thought if you guys have any questions, you're more than free to ask it. I don't know why it works. I just identified this as a pattern. I decided to put it on the charts to see how it looked, and that's what I did. Now, when I did this, let me show you one other thing I did.
The larger time frame, it looks like, or not larger time frame, but just bigger scale. Bigger scales,
yeah. One of the things I did was I put the price action on here, and I used the fib retracement. So I took the lowest low and the highest, right? So I went from the highest position to the lowest. So that was the high, that was the low for this pattern. And look where that 50% mark came in, which is equilibrium, right almost at 10 cents. And so having both the grid knowledge as well as the 50% level gave me being right in that corner of that box. Now, where's my stop? If I'm wrong and this thing continues to go down lower, it's just below that box. So very, very tight stop on that. So you're risking very, very little when you're buying at the right time. All right, so let me go over here and I'll show you what I did on my first trade. I kind of eliminated a couple of things because I already had that set up, but I eliminated it because it was interfering with the other one. So on this one, and I don't have my 50% mark in there, but it was exactly the same thing. And this is when I made my first trade with XLM, and I bought it right here. And actually, this, I don't know if I had it there, or I had it here because I was looking at this area of support here. Yeah, I think that's about right. And this one, I wanted to make them kind of equidistant, and I'm missing one here too. I had another one in here because I wanted to do a complete grid. Another one right about in there. Yeah. So I had this grid system going, which I developed from the March low. This was the March low, right? And when it came and it hit the upper area, which was the upper channel line, it followed this grid straight down until we hit this corner. When we hit that corner, I bought it at 6 cents. And then basically it came up to 888, which was like pretty close to the old high here, and I got out. That was a nice trade. I made a lot of money on that.
So you would say you had to wait till about May to establish that channel with the 2 top points, and you clone the top one to make the bottom one.
Yep. You had to wait. You have to wait and look at the grids. It wasn't really. It was about here. You want to look at that resistance area to create that. So that was April 23rd.
I was just thinking where you start, right? If people are going to say, all right, I want to do this, how do I do it? If you're looking at the top half of your channel there, how do you draw that line, right? Well, your top other peak there is right around May.
Yeah, I didn't really. Well, this is June. This is June. This is May here.
So that would be the soonest you could have established that.
That's right. So yeah, I had to have watched this price pattern for a while until I saw I could have developed it here if I saw it, but I didn't. I actually saw it in May. And then I started looking here and I said, okay, let me backtrack. Let me see what the distance between these grids is going to be. See if it plays out here, see if it plays out here, see if it played out here, which it did. And then kind of extend that outward. And so I had some grids going all the way and another one out here.
Yeah, because that's your awesome signal there, right? So if you're watching it right around June as it's coming down, you've only had the one touch point that goes way back to the March low, and it's never hit that red line in the bottom channel. That's how you know you have your good high probability. Once that turns around,
that's right.
There's your bottom channel buy signal.
Exactly. And the important thing is that you keep these grids equidistant, and they should be and also at the same angle, right? So they're all at the same angle, and they should mark, like this was a high here. So I said, okay, now we hit a high, we hit it, it came back down, and it followed this line perfectly. So really, once this one was formed, this whole little decline in here was formed. That gave me a pretty good indication that grid system was aligned with the price action.
So that leads into one of those, you're not, it's not an in and out. You're sitting there waiting for it to come to you. When it comes to you there around July, now you know you have your high probability.
Absolutely. It comes down into this little corner, high probability trade to go long. Yep.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you kind of squint, you can kind of see like kind of a tree.
Cover one eye. And then
cover one eye. Yeah. And this is a little different pattern because the angle's a little bit different, but basically the principle is exactly the same.
Yeah, once you can establish your channel, then build, like you say, the grid. It's almost like you're building in stair steps or the trellis or.
Yep. And just make sure that you kind of eyeball these. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to eyeball them. You want to look for those support and resistance areas and just kind of fill in the grid system. So I'm going to be looking now probably up around this area to get out on a short-term trade.
Right. Nice. Well, that's a sweet little treat there to roll up the week. What do you guys think? Let us know in those comments there, and we'll prepare for the weekend. Not that TD has been letting us do a lot of trading this week, but thanks a lot. Greg likes it. Thanks, Greg. Hand
it back over to you.
Right on.
Greg? Oh, good. Yeah, you're welcome, Greg. Yeah, it's like I've used it a couple of different times. I've never really kind of discussed it. So this is the very first time I've ever discussed that charting pattern, but it makes a lot of sense. I've used it a number of times to, make some pretty good trades.
No, that's pretty fantastic. And just taking a quick peek where we left off now, we see we had a little pullback. Now it's still kind of just chopping now on the Dow. NASDAQ's winning, of course. So the NASDAQ is positive. Dow was positive for a little bit, but it's not at the moment. And the SPX is just above positive now, 0.03. We'll pull over this so you can see a little bit easier. So the Dow is the only one that's below right now where it was above for a moment. But yeah, so you can keep updating this. See, we're at 1118 now, a little bit higher. So more things are coming in. Advancing is coming back.
Did you refresh that page, because it looks exactly like the yesterday's close?
I did refresh it. It's actually refreshing in live, yep. Because it did it while I was updating the spreadsheet, of course. You know how that happens. Boom, the numbers jump.
Yeah, that is funny though. The issues are almost exactly at the close yesterday.
Right? Yeah, it was 1191 is what I got in the spreadsheet here that I see. We'll do one final update. Let's see where we ended here.
So you can see already the advancing issues advanced a little bit. It's up 100. So that
258,840. 624,844. And where are we at? 36 cents. And 33.96. So that's tracking down. Let's see where that brings us. Probably not major difference. Oh, we lost one bullish herding. We had 3, now we're at 2.
Bearish, yeah, we lost.
Or excuse me, yeah, bearish herding, thank you. Yeah. MT vol is still climbing 96. I think we were 97 before. But yeah, we're still full. The pipeline.
Well, one thing too is, just to point this out, is the buy sell signal hit 10. Now 10, anything over 10 is pretty extended. And also the 27-day sum was at 2,000. Yeah. And that area is typically resistance.
And those have both come down now. We see as I'm doing this live, it's down to 1,000 now and 6 on the 21-day.
Right. So it's come down. And
buy sell's negative now.
And the buy sell is negative, yes.
I can, if it's not in there already, yes, Greg, I will add it to that page for this. Absolutely, I can do that.
BDS, are you using PS to verify? What is PS?
Price signal.
Oh, no, I'm not using price signal on that. I do look at it, but I'm not using it as a final indicator. Although on XLM, certainly if I see a red dot on the price signal and we're at a new high, which we were, I would say, I wonder. So, I mean, I will certainly glance at it. Absolutely. I want to see the momentum continue. But I don't use it in the initial analysis of the grid, but I will use it when I sell, when I go to get out.
Yeah, so look around, see if you guys find anywhere to apply that channel ladder. You know, there's tons of instruments out there. So if you guys find one, please share and help each other out.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we'll call it a week. So thanks, everyone. Thank you, Dave, as always.
My pleasure.
Any questions, you know where to get a hold of us, gents.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Monday.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good one, guys.
Greg, Edie, you're welcome. All right, guys. Take care, Dan. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, we can't do a shout out like Brad does because we don't have thousands of people, but yeah, you guys are fantastic. See you, Andre.
And I can't do it as fast as he can either. Oh my God.
He should be an auctioneer.
He should.
Isaac, you're welcome. Appreciate it.
A lot of businesses going out of business, so you could auction off all their assets, right?
Exactly.
Hey, Brad, if you're listening, that's a new career option for you right there.
I got a guy. See you guys.
Take care.